So we had a wee conversation going on in our clan community. We've got this sort of forum that we all chat away in, and one of our long-standing members, Stephen, was it Stephen?
It was Stephen, yeah, Mr. F.
Was chatting about age and does age play a factor in getting fit. Now, we answer questions all the time in the forum. It's a nice wee kind of chat, isn't it? A wee forum.
Yeah.
All the members interact with each other. It's quite nice. But we thought this question was just a really good one, you know. And I think it's something that certainly came up a couple of times in the past. So we thought we would make a video for it.
Oh, to get old, eh?
And just before anybody asks, I am 35 and I was 34. I'm pretty sure we say that in every single live feed that we do. How old are you guys? Oh man.
But it's funny because in my teens, I'll just use training as an example. Training and nights out, that's the two examples I use. In my teens, I could train quite a lot, recover quite quickly, fairly strong, etc, etc. No real injuries or niggles or nothing to worry about. In my 20s, I was like, yeah, not recovering quite as quickly. Certainly into my 30s, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling it now. And as for nights out, Christ, that's even worse. In my teens, it's like, yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In my 20s, it's like, Friday, maybe Saturday.
Yeah.
And now in my 30s, I'm like, once a month.
it's like, it's Christmas.
Can't wait for Easter.
No, I'm the same. In terms of just recovery, I was actually having this conversation a couple of weeks ago. This is not by design, but I've realised that I'm training 6 days a week at the moment, and on a Tuesday I also do judo. So I'm training like 7 training sessions per week, and my body is feeling it. And I just can't sustain it. I'm going to have to drop just a couple of sessions. Obviously the most important thing about training being the recovery afterwards, and that's when you get fit and strong and lean. So listen to your body is the first point, but we'll discuss it a little bit more depth. We're going to head along to one of the halls that we use, and we can discuss this very topic in more detail.
We'll discuss it until we're disgusted. Don't know why that would be like.
Depends how old we're talking, right?
Yeah.
What is the maximum age?
One of the main initial factors, and we'll discuss it briefly, is recovery. I mean, that's ultimately the first and foremost difference between somebody in their 50s to the 40s, 40s to 30s, and so on. A young person will have more levels of growth hormone in their body when they go to sleep at night, etc., so they recover faster, their hormones are all firing on all cylinders, so fundamentally recovery slows down.
Yeah, I think obviously this question came from Stephen, and he made the point of a lot of athletes will talk about when you hit 30, 35, then that's you've hit your prime and it's all downward after that. And because Stephen's just a little bit older than 35, just a little bit, he's like, you know, are we all doomed? You know, if you hit your prime at 35. Now, the point I would make is absolutely right. It's all about recovery. It's then about the individual or the coaches then being very sensible about the intensity of sessions, the recovery time in between sessions. So say for instance a 20-year-old athlete can handle a lot more, just exactly what we're saying in the car. You can handle a lot more, you can do more training sessions, but as you get a little bit older you may just have to kind of tone it down a notch, but that's not to say that you can't then keep getting fitter.
It was interesting, I remember hearing something once, and I don't know if this is fact or not, it was maybe just a kind of synopsis, but they said a younger person's body can deal with stress better but their mind can't, and an older person can deal with the stress mentally better but their body can't. Yeah. And I suppose in a way that, you know, when you're younger there's things where you're like, oh, I've got too much to do and I just want to sit and play my computer game, and you get kind of like, oh, I don't want to do my homework, I don't want to, you just get all stressed and pickled for exams and whatever and silly things, right? Late in life you just get a whole bunch of stuff done, but your body's saying, no.
So whether you believe in nature or God, it's quite cruel in a way. Like your body when you're young can do so much, but your mind, one, doesn't really know what you should be doing. You know, if you put the mind of a 70-year-old in the body of a 20-year-old, they'd be like, I can do anything. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So age absolutely 100% matters, but it's all down to the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. It does matter, but it's more important that you can get, like a 30-year-old that's got the body of a 50-year-old because of the way they live their life, the training that they do or don't do, the food that they eat, and vice versa. You can get a 50-year-old that's got the body of a 30-year-old, again, because they look after themselves, they train hard, eat well, they sleep well, low levels of stress. So it can play a factor, but it's ultimately down to you.
Now, some of the things that you can do is, when we say take better care of yourself, what we mean is, like, you've just got to accept it. Your recovery is not as great as it used to be, and therefore give yourself more recovery. If you've had a hard workout, get yourself the bath salts and get in. Take your rest day, drink plenty of fluid, get a good night's sleep, all the right things to maximise your recovery, because you know that chemically, fundamentally, physically, you're fighting a losable battle compared with what you had in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or whatever, 50s, 60s. So because recovery is a factor, do more to maximise your recovery. Be good to yourself.
Now, I think this can really be summed up by in very, very simple layman's terms. If you're to base your lifestyle between a 1 and 10, okay? So say, for instance, Rab and I, we like to think we take care of ourselves, we've got nice low levels of stress, we eat well, everything else. So we'd say it could be slightly better, so I'd say we're at 8.5 and 9 out of 10. That'd be fair? Okay, so we take 8.5, 9 out of 10, and we say, okay, well, this is us at 34, 35 years old. Now, as we get older, if we just maintain that same lifestyle, as we get older, you might just start to decline slightly in health and well-being because you're trying to do the same things at that age, and then you're just getting older, and your body does age in time, it adapts. However, a lot of people watching this saying, oh, I'd love to get fit, but I'm just getting a bit too old. Now, a lot of people watching your channel, you might not be an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. You might be down at, say, a 5 or a 6 out of 10 in terms of your lifestyle, the things that you could be doing, the things you should be doing. Like Rab just mentioned all about, like, taking baths, taking time and everything else. Now, as you get older, you say, oh, I'm getting old. But if you take that, say, 5 or 6 out of 10, and you take that to an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 or even a 10 out of 10 in terms of looking after yourself, the training that you're doing, really listening to your body, be mindful of your day-to-day activities, you can actually get fitter as you get older, no matter whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or even 80, 90 years old. You can still get fitter depending on your current level of lifestyle.
It's really important not to limit yourself or use age as a crutch. I'll tell you a story. When I used to work in St Andrews, I used to teach this class. Now, the average age of the class was probably late 50s to early 60s. I had one lady that was near 70. And this new lady came into the class, new member, and she came in, she was like, oh, now, okay, I need to watch what I'm doing because of my age. I was like, okay, just do what you can. She was new to the class, run her through things. And as we're going through the exercise, we were using a kettlebell, but it was lightweight, it was, taking care of her. And she's like, oh, I don't know if I should be doing this for my age. And she said it about 4 or 5 times. Now, as a class instructor, I was just trying to support her, just make her feel safe, just encourage her. But it was one of the other ladies in the class stopped her and said, excuse me, do you mind if I ask you what age you are? And the lady was all proud, oh, I'm 56. And she put her in her place. She said, well, I'm 60, she's 62, she's 65, and I think she's approaching 70. She went down, everybody was older than her. And she said, we all do it, we all get stuck in, we do what we can. And right, that lady was something like, oh. So she'd walked into that class thinking she was the most senior, and therefore had this mindset that she had to wrap herself in cotton wool and watch what she's doing. And because she was watching what she was doing about a third of the workout and stopping. Not because she was tired, not because it was hard, but because she thought that was too much for her age. So don't let it be a limiting factor.
If you believe that you are too old to do something, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's one of my favourite terms. It's so appropriate for so many different situations. If you believe something, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think you're too old, then you probably are, but it's your mind that's old and not your body.
Gotta get old.
So, drive uppers.
It wasn't the drive up, right?
Clearly, I'm getting old.
Sausage.
I should
I think you'll go grey and I'll go bald.
I'm going to go senile.
Aye.
Have you ever seen In-Betweeners?
Yeah.
He's so tired and he goes, flub-a-dub-dub.